So I do a lot of work which is looking at the ways in which privacy law is negotiated internationally, in particular agreements between the European Union and the United States which have impact for privacy domestically in both Europe and America. So first of all, I think that there should be some degree of transparency. That what we need to know a lot more about what is actually being negotiated, not as a kind of fait accompli, but at the time that it is actually negotiated. Secondly, I think we need more accountability, in particular more democratic accountability. A lot of these agreements take place more or less as executive agreements. There isn't very much space for democratically elected policymakers to pay attention to these. And third, I think that we need some degree of reciprocity so that Europeans who are having their information handled by the US government, for example, would have the same kinds of rights as Americans have. And similarly, Americans, when Europeans get access to their data, would have some sort of right of redress, right of figuring out what kinds of broad material the government is gathering on them, except in cases where there is a clear, obvious and urgent security reason why they should not have that. They should care because these things can have real and substantial consequences. The kinds of stuff that I study is the area where privacy law intersects with terrorism. And here you have these two clashing needs. On the one hand, people do genuinely have a need to be kept secure. They want to make sure that they are being protected from people who want to do bad things, and the openness of advanced industrialized countries like the US and countries in Europe means that terrorists can do an awful lot of things without being noticed. On the other hand, we also see how it is that when information is gathered in various ways, it can have real and substantial consequences for people's lives, especially when that information is erroneous or false. One excellent example of this is the Maher Arar case, where we saw a Canadian who had I believe that he had shared a house temporarily with somebody who was a suspect in terrorism, found himself effectively being carted up by US authorities with the cooperation of Canadian intelligence when he was flying temporarily through the US and being deported to Syria, where he was kept in jail for several months and tortured before he was released, with everybody accepting that he had effectively no involvement in terrorist activities whatsoever. So what we see here is the kinds of stuff that can happen when we don't have accountability, we don't have transparency, and it can have real and substantial repercussions. It can, as in this case, it can ruin innocent people's lives. So this is real life and death stuff, I think, that we're talking about here.